Boston has entered the chat, so jump on in. The water's fine, baby. Travis Thomas here inside the PNC Bank studio with my man, George Bilecki, back home in Jersey. Is that right, George?
A few more hours left, then I'll make the venture back up north to the motherland of Boston. But yeah, man, hold it down one more time in Jersey, because why not?
Why not? All right, taking your phone calls per usual on the Boston has entered the chat hotline, 617-790-0928. Plus, you can email us. How about that? We have one of those here today, George, the chat at Nesson.com. But let's start here. You know, it is the dog days of summer, George. And so it's only right that we talk about our beloved sport of baseball. But here's what I want to do. I want to get creative with you, because I'm looking around now at the division leaders around the league. And I have a creative question for you, which is, which one of these current division leaders will not make the playoffs? And George, I ask you because I looked at all of them, I studied all of them, and I could only come up with one. I don't believe in the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, to be fair, George, some of this could just be me projecting, because I predicted that they would take a big step back this season. And then to show you how much of a moron I am, I actually thought the Cincinnati Reds would win that division. I believe the Pittsburgh Pirates would take a next step. And then, of course, we understood that the Cardinals couldn't be as bad as they were last season. I also even thought the Cubs could be at play here. But here we are, Brewers on top of that division. Yet still, George, maybe, again, it could just be me being stubborn here. I will acknowledge that. But I look at these other teams, the Cardinals, a little bit above 500 right now, having a much better season, because out of the gate last season, they were an absolute train wreck. So they do look better. The Pirates are capable, still not quite living up to the expectations I put on them, but they are capable, and they're right there hovering around 500. The Reds are a mess. I don't know. I guess I was just wrong. That's where I can admit that. And then the Cubs,
said it, not me.
I know. And then the Cubs have been a mess too. But I do believe that division's still open enough where I feel confident saying I'll take my shot on the Brewers falling apart in the second half of the season and not making it. But there's really nowhere else I can go in baseball where I feel that confident, George.
I hate you because I wrote the Brewers as my choice too. And
I know.
It's because I'm looking at who's behind them. You have the Cardinals in St. Louis. They can make the leap. But it's more importantly to me, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller. They have three great pitchers. All those guys with the sub-4 ERA or are a workhorse with a minuscule whip. And I think if you want to pick a team that won't finish as the division winner, you have to have confidence in the teams behind them that can go ahead and play catch-up. How many times have we seen the Brewers surging through the regular season? And I know that was with Craig Counsell as their head guy and their skipper, who's now at the last place, Chicago Cubs. Congrats, Craig, on getting that paycheck. Justin Steele literally wants to murder you.
Yes.
But I got to look at the teams that are behind them. And that's why it's tough identifying it. Think about some of the first place teams. Like you see the Guardians there, but they're a proven winner. They know what they have. The only thing I could give them is if they sell at the deadline like a Shane Bieber. But like we said, they're a division leader right now. So if they keep this trajectory up, then they'll be fine. Maybe they buy and they continue to make a push. This Brewers franchise is known to plead the poverty, saying, oh, we're broke. We have no money. Don't make much moves at the deadline. They just dealt Corbin Burns before this season to the Orioles. Now, Burns, of course, was on the last year of his contract. Dealt them to the first place Orioles. Again, with that core the Orioles have, I don't see them relinquishing that division lead, even with the guys like the Yankees right behind them. But this is division leader to miss the playoffs. I need two teams behind them I have confidence in that can leap them. I pick on the Brewers in this one. Yes, Freddie Peralta has been great. Yes, they have young studs at their core, and they still have Christian Yelich as a leader in that dugout. But I just think of what the Pirates could become with three good pitchers, what the Cardinals can become in only 6.5 games behind them. The Pirates are 9 games behind them. That's why I picked the Brewers as a team, to me, most likely to relinquish that division-leading lead. And for them, worst-case scenario possible, miss the playoffs. Would they do it all the way? Do I have a lot of confidence in this? No. but it's all about what are the circumstances and what's the scenario. And for them, I have that confidence in that scenario.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I was jotting some notes down while you were talking. So the Orioles, I'm with you. I actually believe they will win the division, but I'm even willing to sort of concede that and say, even if they don't win the division, and let's just, for the sake of the convo, say the Yankees do, I don't believe the O's will miss the playoffs. Like they're still too good of a team. They'll be a wild card, and that's where I was struggling with a lot of these teams and why I picked the Brewers, as did you. Even the Guardians. George, that division's really good. I mean, if anything, it shows how good the Guards are, because you look at the Twins, you look at the Royals. I mean, both of these teams have great records right now and are playing pretty good baseball, and yet the Guardians, at least at time of this show, have a 7-game lead over the Twins. So it's just like they're lights out right now. The Guardians are actually really good. I have a couple of those cats on my fantasy baseball team, so I know it's a good team. And then coming into, this is where I go back to like my personal predictions. Coming into this season, I have the Mariners against the Dodgers in the World Series. I have a ticket for that. And so far, Seattle's making me look like a genius. I mean, I think that's a team that's going to end up in the World Series. I don't believe the Astros are going to catch them, and the Angels, and don't even get me started on the Angels and A's, right? So I'm with you there. And then on the National League side, I mean, the Phillies, I know they have some injuries. Maybe they could struggle here for a minute, but that's still too good of a team, and their injuries are not catastrophic enough where I feel like they're going to fall off a cliff and miss the playoffs. That's another example like we talked about with the O's, where even if the Phillies blow it and don't win the division, let's say the Braves do, they're still going to be a playoff team. And then we talked about the Brewers, and then the Dodgers are the Avengers, okay? They got hurt. They lost Mookie. It doesn't even matter. And this team's ridiculous. So we all know they're going to win that division. So really, I mean, the only place to go is Milwaukee. And by the way, George, we could be wrong on them too. They could win that division. Neither one of us would bat an eye. Like, we could both be wrong. We'll both acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, look at the Pirates being more likely of just being a wild card team that squeaks in than really making noise and ground on the Brewers. But you brought it up first thing with the Guardians of who they have behind them, and it's the Twins. I don't have a belief in Minnesota. I need those teams that are further down in the standings that I think can fight their way, have the talent to, and just overall have the roster construction right now that I believe in, that they can make a run.
That's right.
And not just finish and try to beat the team out, but finish first or second. Because if you're missing the playoffs, to me, you're getting bumped out of that division lead. Of course, you know, the wild card could be a whole nother different story.
Right.
But it's also with what the Brewers are and what they have. I mean, young team, good team. First year with the manager at their helm and a new manager, new voice in that dugout.
Yeah.
And we'll just see what they have. I just don't have the belief in their Stallions like I do with the other guys in their division. So that's why I pick on the Brewers in this one. And yeah, when you're going through these division leaders throughout Major League Baseball, and it's either that they are a great team and they're ready at the top and there's no way they're missing the playoffs, or I just don't believe in the makeup behind them, because two things have to go right for them to miss the playoffs, or one thing goes right, one thing goes wrong. One thing going wrong is them fluttering out. One thing to go right, the two teams behind them making a push. One, to win the division. The other one to finish with a better record than them, pushing them to third in their division and really putting them in jeopardy of making the playoffs.
Well, you heard George and I bump our gums on this. We want to hear from you. 617-790-0928. Hit us up on the hotline. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. Send us your tweets as well. All right, let's keep this baseball party rocking. George, my favorite baseball player, Max Scherzer, has climbed. He has ascended. He is now 11th on the all-time strikeouts list. Oh, you know what? Our esteemed producer, Ante Campbell, who's a walking, talking triple-double. I love him. But I hate that he's asking me this because, George, I am the worst at guessing games. He asked a question, and I need your help. How many of the top 10 ahead of Max Scherzer can you name? George, I am so bad at stuff like this. So can I just let me give you my little BB gun here, okay? I'm going to go Nolan Ryan because that's my childhood. That's my childhood. I'm going to go big unit, Randy Johnson.
Yep.
I'll go. You got to go Roger Clemens, right? I'll go the Rocket.
I'm pretty sure you just named 1 through 3.
Okay, good. I'll take it. I know. I just saw Verlander do this. So
he just got 10.
Okay, all right. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got, George. That's all I got.
You're going longevity on this, which is like that's the framework. So those are the three that I would guess off the top two. Nolan Ryan's all-time strikeouts leader. We know that. Randy Johnson, we know. Roger Clemens, stud since he stepped in.
Right.
Justin Verlander, we know is 10th. The one, and it's because of where I grew up and hearing so much about the Mets, I'm very confident. Tom Seaver. I think he's top 6.
Okay. Well, that's
He's
the other
either
thing.
6
How can we
or
check?
7.
We can't even check this. We don't know anything.
I'll pull up the list. You know me, or we'll have Ante speaking into our ear.
All right.
Then Pedro? I feel like Pedro's just outside.
Pedro. I didn't even name Pedro.
Who's been great from the jump.
Yeah.
Scherzer's 11.
Pedro's
Verlander's 10.
15th, I was told. 15th.
Exactly. Cy Young? Is Cy Young there? He's definitely top 20.
This is why you shouldn't play guessing games.
There's going to be
just enjoy the game. You know,
there's going to be
the
4
pitchers.
guys. There are going to be 4 guys that pitched in the 60s and 70s that we have no idea, never heard of.
All right, I'm getting the list. I can't take this anymore.
So the producer that came up with this, Ante, is an LA guy. Is a Dodgers fan. Is there any great Dodgers pitchers? Oh, you have the list in front of you?
I got it.
Hold
yeah,
on,
you want to guess some more?
I remember when we were doing our Dodgers Mount Rushmores, a name that came up was Don Sutton.
Don
Sutton?
Yep.
I'll throw him out there top 10. Is he top 10? Don?
Yes, he is. By the way, George, you nailed it. Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens in order. 1, 2, 3. You ready for the rest?
They're great in longevity. Yeah, who's 4?
All right, Steve Carlton.
Yeah, who's that?
I don't know.
I know him, but I don't know him. I know I'm disrespecting someone like Buster Olney's like climbing out of his recliner, like, oh, I don't know who Carlton is. It's like, dude, when did he pitch? Like the 70s?
60s and 70s.
Yeah, I was born in 94. Like, get off my back.
Bert Blevin? I got nothing there.
You know who Bert Blevin is? You know who Bert Blevin is? Some weird kid from North Dakota that smells bad. And likes pimento cheese sandwiches on old rye bread with mayonnaise. Like, who's Bert Blevins?
It's Bly 11, I've been told. Congratulations. Tom Seaver at 6. Don Sutton at 7. You nailed Sutton and you nailed Seaver and Sutton. Sutton 7. Gaylord Perry 8. Walter Johnson.
I'm surprised I didn't have that name down.
I'm surprised too. Walter Johnson 9, and then Verlander. There you go. I mean,
who did Walter Johnson pitch for?
I need a cigarette. I don't even smoke. Like, that just stressed me out. I can't. I don't mind talking top 10 list or whatever, but when you get to guessing, you lose me.
Walter Johnson pitched for 21 years from 1907 to 1927.
This is a spitball, see? This is my famous slider, see?
There's no way I would have gotten him.
Yeah, no
1.36 ERA 1 year, 1.14 ERA. How many innings pitched? 110, 256, 370. All right. You know what? Respect to Walter Johnson, 369.
We got to put some respect. In fact, if you want to help George and I, either guess these names or you want to make fun of us for not knowing the old timers, 617-790-0928, the chat at NESN.com, or you can always tweet us. All right, I'm ready to move on to football if you are, because we got to talk about JaMarcus Russell. I had hoped that I never had to talk about this guy again in my life. I mean, what has he done for us besides nothing? All he was the biggest bust in NFL history. Well, now he's up to it again, George. We've always heard he's a bad person. Now we have proof. Listen to this. JaMarcus Russell has been fired as a volunteer assistant coach at his alma mater, by the way, Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama. He took a $74,000 check meant as a donation. Cash that thing. He went to a local business owner asking for a donation to help the team purchase a new weight room. The school never received the check. JaMarcus deposited it in a credit union. Then he took out $55,000 for his own money. Boy, I tell you what. I mean, George, this is right on brand with this dude. Remember, the Raiders said they used to give him blank DVDs and say it was game tape. Hey, go home, study this, be ready to go. And then he'd come back to practice the next day. Did you watch the DVD? Oh, yeah, I'm ready, coach.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready, baby.
I watch blitz packages in the red zone. Yeah.
I'm ready to go, man. Hey, that corner coming off the edge, seen that, done that. Not scared, not worried. Wrong. They were blank. So this does not shock me at all. I mean, it's disappointing, George. Like, it's disgusting, but it doesn't shock me. You know what I mean? Like, we already knew this dude's a loser to the highest level. And get stuff like this. This is stuff losers do, George, right?
This is, it's like stuff that losers do. I mean, the guy still made like $36 million over the course of his 3-year NFL career. You're a volunteer coach at the high school. Apparently, you're not volunteer because you're taking $74,000 as a straight check, cash, not taxed. You just see this and you're not surprised it's linked to him because, like you said, the guy that they'll get blank CDs, claim he watched it. The dude with all the talent in the world. When this broke out and I was reading about it, and then I also went back and rewatched highlights from his LSU his senior year, especially against the Notre Dame game. Literally flick of the wrist, the ball goes 60 or 70 yards wherever he wanted it on the field. Couldn't make a damn read to save his life. Right. But when he had like Brandon LaFell as his receiving group, right, as one of the guys he's thrown to, like all NFL talent across the field, what do you expect? This just sucks.
Yeah.
You have a high school. You probably have 74, 75K. You can float to get them a brand new weight room as is. Instead, you go to a local business in Mobile, Alabama. It's not like this guy's coaching in some big city somewhere where there's a lot of money. Go to a local business, Mobile, Alabama, where someone donates $74,000 of their own from their business or from their own pocket. Supposed to go to the school that you coach. Don't even do that. So you're stealing from that business owner. You're stealing from the kids that need that weight room to hopefully get to the dream of playing at college football, the dream of getting themselves into a situation where they can get scouted and picked into the NFL, the dream that you had and you squandered, and you're just stealing from it. I also saw the follow-up. Basically, he's banned from the school premises. He's never allowed there ever again. Yeah. He's banned from any team-associated activities. There was some event being held for the team as well. He showed up, and they were like, you are not welcome
What
here.
An idiot.
For that to happen as well, says all you need to know about him.
Yeah.
Because the people that he's been working with and working for day to day, if this was a one-off, they'd go, you know what? JaMarcus made a big mistake, and we understand that. But for him to pull this and they go, dude, you're out of here. We are done. It sounds like the last straw.
Yeah.
And don't know him. Don't know much about him since he was the biggest bust in NFL history, in NFL draft history, whatever. But for it to come out where you do this, and it makes sense that the school would be like, get out of here, we don't want you. But like simply ban from the premises, stay away from the team. We're hosting these events. They know they can use a guy like a JaMarcus Russell, I guess. I don't even know how good of a coach he is. Did he know the game? Or did you have all this talent, right?
Yeah.
And again, if he's stealing from a business and stealing from what should go towards a school, who knows how much he's even helping the program himself if he can financially. I don't want to make it all about money. But for them to say get away and stay the hell away, that says all I need to know about JaMarcus Russell on this one. I'm 0% surprised to see that he did all this, given what we know about him. And it sucks. You would hope someone would grow. Like Ryan Leaf, everything he dealt with off the field as well. Matured as a human. Beat addiction, overcame a lot who he was as an individual. You would hope to see the same as JaMarcus Russell, and we just don't.
I think that's a great point. I mean, even from a football perspective, George, I was completely wrong about both of them. I thought for sure Ryan Leaf and JaMarcus Russell, both for the same reasons. Big, physical, strong arm. I mean, they were almost ahead of their time in a sense. They were Big Ben Roethlisberger or Cam Newton or an Anthony Richardson, some of these physical specimens we see these days where it's like, are you a defensive end? Oh, no, you're a quarterback? What? So I thought just off sheer size and athletic ability and the just absolute incredibly strong arms that these guys would almost muscle, pun intended, their way in the NFL and like work. And both of them were bust and flamed out for the same reason, the mental aspect. And look, I think you raise a tremendous point about how Ryan Leaf finally recognized it and had some self-awareness and looked in the mirror and did some soul searching. And I actually think that deserves a lot of credit for anyone, any walk of life, who's willing to do that hard work and do that and better yourself. JaMarcus Russell should do that now. I don't know if he will. I doubt it. But something like this, I believe Ryan Leaf had some, some sort of like drug issue and
Yep.
Was in and out of of jail, quite frankly, and court system and all that. And that was kind of like rock bottom for him. Maybe this should be rock bottom for JaMarcus Russell to realize, like, oh, my high school, where I'm sure he was a god up until this point, has shunned me away. And you know what, George? Like, the kids lose. Like, I actually think somebody, what's the school called? Williamson High School. Someone in the administration really fumbled this and dropped the ball. And I think they deserve a little bit. It is JaMarcus Russell's fault. But there needs to be some accountability had, too, in the administrative office side of things, because the kids lose here, but you got to understand. I mean, if someone is shady with money, are you going to hire them to be a treasurer of something? Hell no. If someone, passes the buck or blames other people or never accepts accountability or responsibility, are you going to hire them as the school principal or like a position of leadership? No. So with this JaMarcus Russell story, what do you mean he took a $75,000 check? What the hell is he around a $75,000 check for? Like, he has already had, in other words, George, this dude's had a history of questionable decision-making and bad character. Why is he around the money? Just show up. In fact, I wouldn't want him coaching. I wouldn't want him teaching my kids how to. I would want him to show up and give us a speech of what not to do. Or maybe if I have some knucklehead guys on the team, which every team does, hell, I was one of them, I'm putting the knuckleheads with JaMarcus Russell. Hey, man, go to the OG, get some game on how not to act. And then that way, if some sketchiness starts happening, you get wind of it and you shun them. But now you're screwed because these kids can't get a new weight room because he effed all the money up, George. Like, some of the administration put him in this position of power, and that was a huge mistake and a red flag from the beginning.
I don't know, because I take this story actually as he probably knew this guy that ran local business as an assistant coach at the school, probably played the guy. And I think the dude that wrote the check, or the lady, whoever owns a local business, raised a red flag. Hey, I wrote a check and it didn't get cashed by the school, or maybe, something happened down the line.
Something happened, right.
All of a sudden they felt something sketchy happening. Or maybe they followed up with someone at the school. Hey, did you get my $74,000 donation? They go,
right.
What?
Right.
And then he goes to his check, goes to his bank, finds out where it got deposited. So I don't know if it's on the fault of the school. They took a guy that he probably, someone like this, what is it? Con artist in a way, right?
Yeah.
Where, like you said, they can be shady, and is probably shady with, goes to the school, wanted to coach, maybe it was genuine, wanted to be around football in some way, give back to his community, he's living there, whatever. Went to a local business. Hey, man, we could really use money for a new weight room. Maybe this guy even, just tight with him. It's JaMarcus Russell, this behemoth of a guy, probably a smooth talker or something.
Right.
And went, how can I help out the team?
Yeah.
How can I help out the kids? What can I do? Man, we could really use a new weight room. All right, cool. Here's a check. Let me know what to use with it. And then I think JaMarcus Russell turned around, did it fraudulently, just put it in his own bank account. So I don't really blame the school on this one, because I think with their response to it, to immediately ban him from the team, ban him from even walking on the grounds of the high school, being around it at all.
Right.
I think they did the right thing. It's just someone like him, because he could have went to the guy himself. Hey, I always go to this restaurant. I always eat here. You want to help out the team? We'll put you as a sponsor. We'll have your sponsorship behind the end zone. We'll put your name on the weight room. Cool. Here's a check. Awesome. Thank you. Goes, puts it for himself, withdraws $55K of his own, gets a brand new car or something, So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is more on JaMarcus. I don't blame too much on Williamson High School.
By the way, George, as a meathead, do you feel as though $74,000 is more or less than you thought to build a weight room?
It's less. Maybe it was like to get a new part of it, but like you need 6 figures to get off the ground and running, you know? And like schools, I learned this in Missouri. It's very smart. They can get around with this. Where I lived in Missouri was Tornado Alley. A tornado shelter doubles as like an indoor practice facility.
Yeah.
You walk in a tornado shelter and you're like, oh, wait, there's turf on the ground. There's a weight room over there. That's what a lot of high schools in the area do. But anyhow, I'm assuming, I haven't looked at the price of a squat rack in a while. Maybe $74,000 can get you new equipment. I'm thinking a completely new weight room, so I could be out of touch. I haven't looked in a while. We'll do this thing where you filibuster and I'll look up a brand new squat rack.
Welcome to Boston has entered the weight room. Let me tell you something, brother. When you lay down on that bench, you got to have your mind made up that you're going to bench Rhode Island, brother, no matter what it takes. All right, you look that up.
You can get. Oh wait, hold on.
This is a jersey. This is a jersey in you.
So starting, you can get a rack for $930.
There you go.
Rack, bench, barbell, 230-pound bumper plate set, 55-pound urethane plates. That's $2,400 that would run you. But this is all in one with the cable set. This looks very efficient because you're working on an entire high school team. It's all about timing. So $2,400. You would need about 6 of these racks. So
look
let's
at
do
what's
some
happening.
Quick math.
Folks,
minimum.
Are you listening and watching what's happening? Do you see the passion?
14,000.
Can you see the passion that George has in breaking this down, people? This is
and you know what? This wouldn't just be a weight room for the football team. It'd be the whole high school. So racks alone, that's $24,000. And then I'm guessing a dumbbell set. You want 2 sets of dumbbells. Let's say that'll run you another 6. And then I guess you renovate the area. So I guess $74,000, if you already have the space laid out, can get you a brand new weight room in a high school. So I don't think that's that bad. I guess $74,000 covers it. I went to a quick Google link, found my first power rack that I like. Let's go Rogue Fitness real quick, though. You always have to shop around.
I apologize to everyone involved.
910. Yeah, this is your fault, Trav. Monster Light Cave. Oh, okay, so I looked at squat racks. Then you have, $57,000. So let's, or $5,700. So $24,000 plus $5,700. So around $30,000 gets you your squat rack. Then you need a leg press.
Oh, the leg press. You can't forget the leg press.
You can't. You need 2 sets of dumbbells. I think $74,000 can cover it. Again, you have the space ready. It's all about how much you need. So thanks. I'm doing some scouting for my future home gym.
If you too would like to pile on to the piece of shack that JaMarcus Russell is, or perhaps you'd like to talk micronutrients and macronutrients and pre-workouts with George, 617-790-0928. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. While George continues to look that up, I'd like to pivot to the NBA. Now, GB, I haven't seen you since the draft has been over. And really, we could get into the weeds about what teams you like, as far as the draft.
Lap pull down machines run you $2,000.
You got to get the lap pull.
You need a lap pull down machine. I don't care.
You got to get the lats.
Yeah, and it's multi-purpose too. That's $2,000.
Now,
so we're at $32,000.
George, while you continue to do math, let me ask you about Bronny here, because
go ahead.
We could go into the weeds of winners and losers and all that from the draft. But Bronny goes to the Lakers. You and I predicted this would happen. He goes 55th overall. I haven't talked to you since. What did you make of it? Because I laughed out loud. I went, of course he goes to the Lakers. Of course they take him. I mean, good for the kid, George, because look, he needed to go back to school. He needed to go back to the weight room and the leg press and all the lap machines and all that. Because I think his game needs development. But here he is. He's a Laker, George. I'm not shocked. Are you?
No, I'm not shocked at all. I mean, it's the guy that his dad is the most powerful person in the NBA. Rich Paul is the most powerful agent in the NBA. So it's more than just LeBron's son.
Right.
It's LeBron's son who also Rich Paul's like an uncle to him. Maybe he is an uncle. You know what I mean? He calls him Uncle Rich, whatever it may be. Him, Maverick Carter. Credit to LeBron, like living the dream of got his source of income and got the foundation of what you need to be successful in this country, which is money.
Yep.
Gave it to his boys, and they took it and made names of their own. Because Maverick Carter's his own person, Rich Paul's his own person, just to name a few, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
He gets picked with the 55th pick. We all saw it coming from a mile away. I said it when I was on the chat with Tay, and I said it on Hold My Banner. Helen Keller saw this coming.
Yep.
What gets me is the way it went about, where Rich Paul comes out, says to all other teams, do not draft Bronny Jr. If you draft him, we'll send him to Australia. That would be a good thing because the kid still needs to develop. He's 6'1". He's decently athletic. His comps are like a Trey McBride or Davion Mitchell. Yeah. But those guys were both better than him when he was in college. Davion Mitchell was the best defender on a national championship team.
Sure.
With Bronny Jr., he was averaging 4 points, 2 assists, 19 minutes a game for a team that finished 9th in the Pac-12 at USC. I said it, and I put this out a while ago. He should have stayed in college, and he should have stayed at USC with Eric Musselman, honestly. A guy that has a track record of developing and sending talent to the NBA from Arkansas.
That's right.
Let alone USC. I think the way it all went about, and then Rich Paul comes out and says, what's your development plan? What's your investment? He's not signing a two-way contract. Dude, he needs to go to the G League to actually play.
Right.
He needs to go to the G League to put up 20 shots a night. Now, the other comparison people go to is you all care about the 55th pick, but you didn't care about Thanasis Antetokounmpo, who was picked 51st in the 2014 draft, or Kostas Antetokounmpo, who was 60th overall in his draft. You know where Thanasis went? The Delaware 87ers, the Westchester Knicks. You know where Kostas went? Texas Legends, Mavericks, South Bay Lakers, Windy City Bulls. Those guys, sure, they got drafted because they were Giannis's brothers. And what the Bucks did by signing Thanasis was, hey, Giannis, we're doing this to keep you here, family, all that. What the Lakers did by drafting Kostas was, when you're a free agent, hey, LeBron, your brother's here in Giannis, your brother's here in LA, come along. Those guys went and developed. Bronny needs to develop. I just think the way it's all going about, it's not in the best interest of the kid. He's not an NBA player right now. Could he be one day? Sure. I'm not going to say he isn't one right now. But if you're not going to let him sign a two-way and go to the G League, and if you're going to put it in where he's going to get drafted 55th, and who knows what's happening behind the scenes? Are you going to him, hey, dude, come on, come out. We'll get you drafted 55th.
Right.
We'll play with your dad before he gets old. He's with the Lakers. Don't worry. Maybe Bronny's like, maybe I want to stay at USC. Maybe I want to stay at college, keep developing, keep playing better. I want to go in and actually be a good player. Because what I wonder now is if he's not signing a two-way, but he's not playing in the NBA, do the rumbles come out where he has to start playing significant minutes? I don't know what it's going to become. So I think it's incredible that LeBron James' son got drafted to the NBA when LeBron James is still one of the best players in the world and not like an eighth man off the bench with no leaping ability and a shell of himself, because he still is one of the best players in the world. I just think the whole way it's going down, where his development is being stunted, and I don't know if he'll actually ever develop to what his ceiling is, because I think these are such significant years for his development. And I say all this with him, of course, suffering that cardiac arrest last summer. Who knows how it affected him down the line?
Right.
2 years past that, maybe he's in a better place physically, all that. So we'll see. I just hate the way it went down. And for Rich Paul to come out and say all this, don't draft him if you're another team. He's not signing a two-way. He's coming out right now because I don't know if it's in the best interest for the kid.
Listen, LeBron James is the alpha and the omega for the Lakers. We understand that. So it's going to go down, as you said. Does this mean he's going to play significant minutes? It's going to go down however dad wants. Okay, LeBron's calling the shots there. We know that. That's why Bronny is there. That's why JJ Redick is the head coach. That's who LeBron wanted, and he's there. He has no experience either. In fact, we have a fan email from our guy Nigel, and if you want to send us emails, send it to the chat at nesson.com. You can also always call us on the hotline, 617-790-0928. But Nigel says, is JJ Redick the right head coach to lead the Lakers? Nigel, the answer is not no, it's hell no. And we all know it. But the issue here is that's what LeBron wanted. And by the way, George, JJ Redick may make a fine coach. what's going on there in LA, in my opinion, is delusion. It's like, okay, even if this guy can coach and you're good, let's say they have a good season. LeBron plays well. Anthony Davis stays healthy, which never happens. Bronny's a contributor. Everything works. You are still a 6 seed at best in the West, who is so loaded and so deep, and you are not beating the Nuggets. You are not beating the Thunder and the Mavs. I mean, the Timberwolves. You're not beating any of these damn teams. And so I think the Lakers organization is so they're out of it, George. They don't have any reality. It's all delusional. So even if J.J. Redick is the right guy, which I don't think he is, but let's say he does a tremendous job, congratulations. What do you win? And maybe an in-season tournament again and a 6 seed to get bounced by Joker? Please. This is a disaster, George.
They got the head coach that is best friends with LeBron, does a podcast with him. They drafted his son. I know LeBron came out and said, hey, I'm going to opt out, but I'll take a pay cut if we get another superstar. If not, I'm going to max out. Dude, you should be taking a pay cut as is. Help out this team as much as possible to build out this roster. Because if you want to get one more ring, and that'd be your 5th in your career, then it'd be big time talking. No matter what, is J.J. Redick the right coach to lead the Lakers? No. He has no prior experience. I've said this. Like the Sam Cassells, who is on the bench for the Boston Celtics before he arrived to Boston as that assistant role, is highly spoken about, highly regarded in coaching circles. As a former player, players love him, love coaching, being coached by him, loved playing with him. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that can relate to the NBA players, but also is smart enough to coach in the game. A guy like that would make sense to me. Go to a Warriors bench, pluck someone from there. But someone who's literal experience in coaching basketball is his elementary-aged son's AAU team. Right. How does that translate to the NBA?
It doesn't.
And J.J. Redick, who I love him on his podcast. I do listen to Old Man 3. I do think it's great. I do like him in studio coverage when he's on ESPN. But this is a guy that always sides with the players, will never have the hard conversations, right? Wouldn't call them out. Maybe there's a coat of arms there as a former player in the media, and I'm sure he did it longer. He would start doing that. But when you have to start calling these grown millionaires out, can you do it? Right. Can you be a mother effort? And I don't know if he can. Yeah. So I don't think J.J. Redick's the right call for this at all. Because also these are pivotal years for LeBron. He is old. Who knows how many more years with good health he has left in the league and how many more years of an impact player he has left. Yeah. You have to capitalize on these last few years with LeBron, and the Lakers aren't doing that by hiring JJ. I don't know if it was chicken or the egg. I don't know if it was LeBron saying, I'm going to leave unless you hire JJ, or LeBron saying, I want JJ, or the Lakers going, LeBron's going to leave. We have to hire JJ because he likes him. Because LeBron went all in after Danny Hurley. He wanted him. Yeah. This was your second option. I'm not a big believer in Hurley, his style translating to the NBA either, but at least Hurley was a coach. You go with J.J. Redick, who's never done it before at any significant level, and now you want him to be making in-game adjustments in the NBA and also managing personalities? No, I don't see it.
Yeah, I think it was a package deal. I think it was Bronny and a coach, and the coach would kind of figure itself out as time went on, but that's what I think it was. I think it was a package deal. All right, for all the latest on all things NBA and the Celtics, check out Hold My Banner. Tune in on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content of the day. All right, George, let's skate on over to the ice now. Did you see the Florida Panthers parade? I mean, where were the people, bro? I know it was pouring rain out there, but coming from a place that knows how to throw championship parades here in Boston, this is pathetic, George.
Yeah, rain or not, people in Florida don't care. What is there? This is like local high school pep rally attendance.
This looks like JaMarcus Russell's high school. Too soon?
I am happy for the Panthers. I think it's a cool story that they won. But this is what you expect. I mean, I've said it. I think the Panthers are one of the most forgettable franchises in all of pro sports. Where you're just oh yeah, the Florida Panthers exist. I'm not surprised the fan base is like this. I think it's tough, unless you're the Dolphins, Because even Heat, think about the Miami Heat, playoff games, it's tough to get people to show up on time or at a halftime or stick through the whole game. For the Florida Panthers, I'm not surprised by this at all, honestly. And it just shows the difference. You get it. And it doesn't have to be a big city like Boston. Go to the Kansas City Royals when they won the World Series, or the Chiefs when they won their Super Bowls. How many people show up? The passion is there for those. A small market city like that in KC, yes, they have the best player in the league. I'm not surprised with this for the Florida Panthers at all. Bro, it's a hockey team in Florida.
Bro, even in D.C., bro, I mean, it's politics, wine, and cheese in that town, and people still turned up for the Nationals and the Capitals. This is embarrassing. Now, the Panthers as a team, as an organization, deserved and earned the Stanley Cup. So good for them. That counts. Those are hard to win. You got one. Congratulations to you, and you may get more because I think that team's set up for future success. And obviously, all those players and coaches, your checks don't bounce, baby. So good for you. You're cashing in on being a champ. You should. Stack your paper as high as it'll get. But the fans down there should be embarrassed for this. However, tens of 20s of fans they have. You should be embarrassed. And by the way, all I could think about was Edmonton. Because if the Oil had won, oh, my God, it would have been just an absolute party. And you would have had the best player in the world out there celebrating a Stanley Cup. So, hey, post Stanley Cup here, it's a loss for hockey to see what happened. More hockey news. Max Domi re-signing with the Leafs, George. 4-year deal. He got paid about $4 million annually. What does this mean for the Leafs in your guesstimation?
I guess they're not completely blowing up the core. I think this is cool for Max Domi, a guy that's bounced around a lot throughout the league his first few years. Had a career year playing there up in Tampa. Right. But I think it says what they're going to do with the roster moving forward. And I didn't think they'd move on, from Austin Matthews, of course, let alone, but like their top 6. Yeah. I think that's a team, though. You still have to shake it up. But Domi was a guy that would, I guess kind of bring toughness. I mean, he was messing with Jeremy Swayman. Yeah. If you're messing with the goalie, I don't know how tough you can be. But a guy that played great for them, if they go and they get him and, hey, there's something right with him here in Toronto, for them to take advantage of that and re-sign, I think that's a smart signing. And for him, cool to see him get paid. Again, a guy that bounced around a lot throughout the league, but had an awesome year, especially in 5-on-5 hockey when playing for the Leafs.
I think it's Groundhog's Day. They're going to run this back. They're going to be a finesse team. They're going to score a bunch of goals, and then they're going to get their ass beat in the playoffs. This is what they do. And they'll just blame a coach. They'll just keep running through coaches. It's what the Leafs do. How about this? Jake Gensel traded to the Lightning for a third-round pick. What's going on with Gensel's career? He's just bouncing around now. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. What does this mean for Stamkos? Like, is he available here? The Gensel news was shocking to me a bit, George, because I thought the Canes would hang on to that. I knew he was a rental and they were going for it, but I thought they'd find a way to make it work and keep him long term. I was shocked by this.
I thought the same thing, especially what they gave up to trade for him. But, it's a guy that'll slot in with Kucherov and Braden Point on the top line, maybe Cirelli on the second line. They have a great top 6. And you said it, this trade coincides with likely Stamkos leaving, which will be so weird to see him not in a Lightning sweater. But Stamkos about to be 34, Gensel getting into his 30s. I think it's the Lightning doing what they can to capitalize on that core of having Point and Kucherov there and see what they can do. It's just going to be very weird to see Stamkos in another team's uni.
Bruins jersey, George? Question mark?
Stamkos, I'd love it. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Stamkos in this Bruins top 6? I would absolutely love it.
How about that? Can we get that? Can we get that trending?
He can slot in with Pasta on the first line or Zaka on the second, and he can play center or wing. It doesn't he's had so much versatility. I floated Stamkos out there. Yeah, of course,
bro.
It's what is the length of the contract is what I want to know.
Right. And I mean, listen, we had to have this combo too. I know we're running out of time here, but it's a lot of miles on that guy, right? Like that's a lot of playoffs, a lot of Stanley Cups, a lot of big games. What he brings to you because of that's fantastic. But George, like how much tread is on those tires, right?
I know. I still want Elias Lindholm. That's a priority to me.
I agree. I'm with you. We're in lockstep there. Well, listen, George, I got to tell you. I mean, even though you went all meathead on me and you built us a private, like, world-class gym on the cheap, I thought this was a fantastic program. I'm not going to lie, man. And I can't wait to have you back in studio. But Jersey George may be my favorite George.
Right before this show, I had 2 slices of broccoli raw pizza with sausage. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to have a bagel, some chive cream cheese salmon lox as well. And then on my way out of here, maybe I'll grab like a chicken Napolitano from Neil's Pizzeria. When I'm here, you know what it's all about, bro. It's the good food. You don't get anything like this anywhere else in the world. Best state that ever was or ever will be. You know how Jersey is, bro.
For Travis Thomas here inside the PNC Bank studio and George Malecki, who's going to gym, tan, and laundry. We'll see you next time on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Peace.